Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eric here. Just hanging out in my car because I'm homeless now. I'm just kidding. It's been a while since I've done one of these little sit-down videos, so I figured with the anticipation and excitement for the Switch 2 or whatever it's going to end up being called, I just wanted to make my own little prediction video. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. This year, 2025, is Mario's 40th anniversary, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they waited until 2025 to release their next system. I think that was very intentional. As we know, it's been a long time since Mario Odyssey came out. I think we're going on 8 years now since Mario Odyssey and Mario Kart 8. I mean, what do I need to say about that? It's been, I think, over a decade since it originally came out on the Wii U. So with it being Mario's 40th anniversary, I truly believe that we're going to get a new 3D Mario and a new Mario Kart, probably this year. I know that might sound pretty wild, but Mario is Nintendo's mascot, and it's the 40th anniversary, and they're launching a new system. It's like everything's all kind of coming together for it. As for the new Mario Kart, I've seen a lot of people say, oh, it's going to be Mario Kart 10. I think it's kind of silly to be like, oh, Mario Kart Tour was Mario Kart 9, or Mario Kart Home Circuit was Mario Kart 9. That would be like saying Super Mario Run was like a mainline 2D Mario game. It's like, no, it was just a side thing. So I think this is going to be the actual Mario Kart 9. Going back to the new 3D Mario game, they need a really big game to sell people on the idea of what's basically just another Switch, but more powerful. You know, they're not like going from the Wii U to the Switch. They're going from basically a Switch to just more Switch. So they need a really big game, and what's bigger than a new 3D Mario game? I think if this does end up happening, they'll probably launch the Switch 2 with the new 3D Mario game, and then later down the road, probably around the holidays, they'll do the new Mario Kart. This is all under the assumption that they're probably going to launch the Switch 2 in around March or April again, like they did with the original Switch. So what could they release in between those two? Well, back in 2020, Animal Crossing kind of blew up and became a big deal for Nintendo, just coming out at the time that it did. And we're going on about 5 years since then now, so I think we're due for the next Animal Crossing, and it makes sense as a big title to push their new system with. So that would give us a new 3D Mario at launch, a new Animal Crossing a little bit later, maybe summertime, and then a new Mario Kart for the holidays. Sprinkled in between all that somewhere, I can see them doing another new IP, kind of like they had ARMS for the Switch in 2017. I don't see them doing Splatoon 4 for a little while longer, like maybe the second year of the Switch 2, just because Splatoon 3 came out just like a little over a couple years ago, and the DLC for it just wrapped up like last year. It feels like it's still kind of recent for them to do another Splatoon just quite yet. I also don't see another big 3D Zelda coming for a while, probably a couple more years. That might be more like year 3 of the Switch 2 or something like that, just because Tears of the Kingdom was such a long time coming, and that just came out 2023, so it was a little while ago, but still pretty recently. I can see them maybe announcing the next Zelda game next year, maybe something like that, but I don't see a new Zelda game coming out for a while. One thing I see a lot of people talk about is, oh, Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends ZA, they're going to be cross-gen, they're going to be on Switch and Switch 2, and I don't think so. I can understand the desire for that to happen because that would be awesome, but there's just a few things that make me like shake my head at that. For one, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Nintendo never really do cross-gen releases outside of a couple of Zelda games which were coming out of unsuccessful console generations, being Twilight Princess coming out of the GameCube era into the Wii, and Breath of the Wild coming out of the Wii U era going into the Switch era. And on top of that, Zelda is like Nintendo's second most popular IP after Mario, so if they're going to do a cross-gen release with any of their IP, it makes sense for it to be something like Zelda. Whereas Metroid, as much as people like us on the internet love it, has historically never been like a financially successful IP for Nintendo. I think the highest selling game in the entire franchise is like 3 million copies. So I just don't know if I see them finding it worth their time and money and resources making a cross-gen version of a less profitable IP like that. But I would love to be wrong. As for Pokemon Legends ZA, I mean, just people having the idea that that's going to be cross-gen is just mind-boggling to me. I mean, for one, Pokemon has never done cross-gen releases for their mainline games. And second of all you've seen people say about the mainline Pokemon games for the last several years is, oh, I wish they would spend more time polishing their games. I wish they would give them more time polishing their games. And now all of a sudden people think that they're going to pump out 2 separate versions of their new game? I mean, pick a lane, people. Make it make sense. And the last reason I don't see these games being cross-gen is because we know the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible with the Switch anyway, so why even bother making 2 separate versions? It just doesn't seem like something Nintendo would do. As for some third-party games they could release, I could see them doing Elden Ring, Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, probably some Call of Duty action, maybe Silent Hill 2. Your guess is honestly as good as mine. Those are just a few ideas off the top of my head that I feel like would make sense. As for the original Switch, I mean, we still have Donkey Kong Country Returns, Xenoblade Chronicles X Remastered, Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon Legends ZA. I think they're just probably going to fill out the rest of the year with ports and just kind of like lesser more exciting titles to continue giving Switch owners something to look forward to. Apparently there's a rumor about Kirby Planet Robobot, like a remaster of that, and they could maybe do the Twilight Princess Wind Waker HD, finally bring that to Switch, you know, just things like that. I can see things like that coming to the original Switch for the remainder of the year. I don't see them putting them on the Switch 2. I feel like they're going to want to give the Switch 2 the more like premium games to, you know, give people a reason to want this, you know, more powerful Switch. I think they want to kind of keep them separate, even though they're all under the same umbrella. I think they're going to want the original Switch to have this like, okay, here's some bones that we're throwing you, but they're going to want the more premium stuff on the Switch too to sell people on it and make them, you know, get out there and buy one. And yeah, that's pretty much how I think the Switch 2 launch and like the first year and so is going to go. It'll be interesting to see how things actually play out. I would love to see what you guys think, if you agree or disagree with anything I had to say here. It's just exciting that we're finally at the point. It feels like forever that we've been talking about this and we're finally there. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.